What is good, everyone? OJ over here from PlayerEssence, and welcome to my village of Nintendo Switch and gaming news ninjas. Today we've got some great information for you, so let's go ahead and get right into it. So the Nintendo Switch is facing a virtual sellout of the stock in the UK, and units are very hard to come by at this point. But I think that's pretty much the thing almost everywhere. But anyway, let's get into this article here. So in the UK, the Nintendo Switch sold about 80,000 units during its opening weekend. Now this information is coming from HMV Head of Technology and Games, Phil Browse, and he says, quote, "We satisfied all pre-orders and blasted through the remaining of our initial allocation. Every single one of our pre-order customers received their console on launch day, and we're optimistic that with some great games due to be released, Nintendo Switch can establish itself as a successful third console in the market. We're a bit tight on stock, but we're looking forward to more deliveries this week." Now here's some additional information here. GameSeek Managing Director Stephen Staley mentioned that stock levels are zero. One manager told MCV that they've yet to hear from Nintendo about when the next batch of consoles would arrive, and this manager also said customers might have to wait till April. Here's the next bit of information here. Quote, "We are in communication with Nintendo, but there is not a confirmed date as of yet. With Mario Kart coming in April, I would hope there would be more stock before then, but that's not confirmed." So let's talk about this just a little bit, because in the UK, that's pretty much Nintendo's weakest area. I think what Nintendo did with Europe this time around, because I remember last time they actually stocked a lot on the UK, and then they only sold 40,000 units when it came to the Wii U. So I think they took a much more conservative approach, especially considering how well PlayStation is doing in the UK. Now, I know that there's been some discussion between fans that I know that live in the UK, talked about how much ads there were and stuff like that, but it did double up on the Wii U, so they did put more effort into it, and it got a little bit more of a sales bump. But in France, that actually sold over 100,000 units there, so I think Nintendo actually allocated a little bit more to other parts of Europe and Australia and different regions, because those all had record-breaking sales as far as for Nintendo, and some of them even console completely. Like for example, in France, that was the highest selling opening week for any console beforehand. So I do feel that Nintendo kind of played things a little bit differently this time, so they had stock in areas where Nintendo's a little bit more popular, but it does seem like they might have to get a restock in UK soon, but they haven't heard any answers at this point. So I think Nintendo is just kind of balancing things out a little bit more when it comes to that region, especially when it comes to France, where it's a little bit more popular as far as Nintendo goes there. So we'll see how it plays out. April is Mario Kart time, so that is April 28th. So I'm pretty sure they're going to get a restock before the end of April. We should see something, but I can understand why they're a little concerned, because fans are coming in and probably wanting a Nintendo Switch, and they say, oh, we don't have one. So, and that's sales lost for them as far as software goes, trade-ins, all of that stuff. So definitely they need to see if they can get that restock. But yeah, Nintendo was going to have a little bit of a difficult time restocking all these, just because they had 2 million plus allocated for the world. So hopefully they can get things restocked and get some more in the UK, so fans over there can buy some more. All right, next we have a potential release date for ARMS. So Amazon IT has listed ARMS with a May 2nd release. This is not an official confirmation. Nintendo did not confirm this themselves, and Amazon listings are sometimes wrong, they're sometimes right. But May 2nd does seem a little bit close to Mario Kart. Not only that, but May 2nd, I'm actually looking at my calendar here, that is a Tuesday, and Nintendo does not release their games on Tuesday. Recently, Nintendo's been releasing their games on Fridays. Tuesdays are usually when Xbox, PlayStation, third parties usually release their games. So I'm not sure if it's going to be May 2nd. I would actually probably say May 19th or May 26th. Those are both Fridays in May, and that spaces things out a little bit more. May 2nd just doesn't seem really logical to me. Neither does May 5th, because that is only 1 week away from Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. That's a huge game for Nintendo. No need to release those two games back to back. So I'm pretty sure that they're going to do May 19th or May 26th for ARMS. So I wouldn't take this listed release date too seriously. A Tuesday just doesn't seem to line up with what Nintendo's doing. Doesn't line up with Mario Kart 8 as far as that being there. So no, I don't see it that way, because that would literally be days later. So no way. Probably May 19th or May 26th for ARMS on the Nintendo Switch, but we have to wait and see on that. Are you guys psyched for ARMS? I'm actually really excited. That's from the Mario Kart developers. It's going to have online play. You can play with motion controls, or you can play with standard button controls. interactive environments. There's going to be a lot of cool stuff in this game, and a lot of the characters seem a bit generic here and there, but it does seem fun. I think it's the wackiness of actually putting on all the different arms and playing, and some of the strategies that they actually showed off during the Nintendo Treehouse stream. So I'm actually really looking forward to this game, and I think that's going to be a really fun game to probably play like PE game nights and stuff like that, to where we can kind of challenge each other. It just looks interesting. It's just something new. It's unique. It's a new IP, something Nintendo's been doing new. They have Splatoon last generation with the Wii U, and now they have this one with ARMS. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to this game, and let me know what you guys think about ARMS and the potential release dates that I went over in the comment section below. Alright, and lastly, we do have some more information on The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild and the Nintendo Switch when it comes to sales in Japan. So in the first 3 days, the Nintendo Switch did sell around 330,000 units. We've already established that. This is around 95% of its initial shipment, which I want to talk about that because that is insane. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild has an attach rate of about 60.8% on the Nintendo Switch. That's actually a higher attach rate than the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess and the Wii did at 35.9% at the launch in Japan. So there's a couple really good numbers that I want to talk about this. Nintendo pretty much nailed their shipment as far as stock and all of that allocation, because that's what you want to do. You want to put out a shipment and you want to pretty much sell through the whole thing, and they nailed it right at 95%. That is amazing planning, engaging of interest by Tatsumi Kimishima and Nintendo on that front. They definitely did their homework in Japan and seeing what retailers were asking for and getting enough allocation for what people wanted in Japan. Now the big thing is going to be restock. They need to make sure that they restock in Japan first more than anything, because Mario Kart 8 is coming out next month, and you want to make sure that Japan, because that's a big game in Japan and of course in North America, you want to make sure there's enough stock in those two regions. So I'm pretty sure Japan and North America are going to be getting the first restocks, and then it's going to filter out to other places there. But yes, 95% of the initial shipment, that's exactly what you want to see when it comes to selling through. And I know the Wii U didn't do anywhere near that. Nintendo planned way too much. They thought it was going to be way bigger hit than what it actually was, and ended up shipping a lot more than it actually sold. So yeah, this is really good that we're hearing stuff like that. The UK pretty much a sellout, here in Japan pretty much a sellout, so that's definitely good. Just it's about restocking at this point. Now the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild with the attach ratio, because a lot of people don't understand that the Legend of Zelda is not this massive huge franchise in Japan as it is everywhere else in the world. Japan is not necessarily so gung-ho on it. Now they do like Legend of Zelda, don't get me wrong, but at the same time it's just not the biggest thing there. So having this attach ratio and the sales come in the way that it did, actually pretty much at Skyward Sword, and that was at the end of the Wii's life with an over 10 million install base in Japan. I think it was around 11 or 12 million to be more focused in. But yeah, to have that type of sales with the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild at launch with systems nowhere near the amount, yet you sell as much as Skyward Sword, that is very good. But I do feel that the visuals, the style, everything that Breath of the Wild does kind of suits the Japanese audience a little bit more. And then on top of that, you put that on a portable and a home console. This device pretty much, I think, was made in Japan's mindset first more than anything. Japanese gamers, they really like their portables, but at the same time, they do like home consoles as well. I don't think home consoles are as dead as some people like to make it seem. So when you have a device that can essentially do both, I think that's a Japanese gamer's paradise. And for many people around the world too, many adults, people that just don't have as much time to sit in front of a TV and play, I do think that it's a very good and dream device for them as well. So I think that's why you're seeing these attach ratios. You're seeing the sales be as good as they are, pretty much beating the Wii U, beating the PS4 in Japan as well, and other systems. Nintendo had a really good debut for the Nintendo Switch, and I think just as long as they continue releasing the games like they're doing, like they did Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, there's DLC coming out of course, but also Mario Kart, ARMS, Splatoon, and I think that's going to be the big one in Japan is Splatoon. We should see the sales continue. We should see people pick up the system more. And once again, I do feel that Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, people need to think of this as a game that's going to pretty much sell the Nintendo Switch for the duration of the system's life. It's that good of a game. Not everyone was able to pick it up. It's going to continue selling days, months, years down the line. So I think it's really cool that Japan picked up this game more than anything, and I'm pretty sure that this game pretty much shows the direction that Legend of Zelda is going to go in the future. Now they're going to take this and they're going to build upon it, shore it up a little bit more, frame rates a little bit better, but I do feel that they've set the framework for the next Legend of Zelda game, and the next one's going to be amazing, and Japan is probably going to pick it up even more. This franchise is gaining more popularity there, which is cool. Alright ninjas, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and hit that like button if you did like it. Lets me know you guys want more content that's going forward in the future, and subscribe to PlayerEssence for the latest news, reviews, discussions, and more. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you ninjas for the next video. Peace!